Gumbeaux Fam. How are y'all? I hope y'all are doing well. Wherever this episode finds you, welcome back. Have a seat, have a little sat, and hopefully not still eating on the same bowl of whatever gumbo you had last time. And if you are, stop. Stop right here. Not going to shame you. We're not going to do none of that because that's not what we do here. We're family, right? So pause where you are, go back to where you need to, and then come on back. Get caught up to where you need to be. If you're just like, nope, rebellion sets in, I don't have to listen to you, ma'am. This is my first episode and probably my only one here. I'm visiting for a short while. I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. Remain. Just remain. And if you're like me, you ignored everything I just said and just continue to listen and play because why? That is who you are. And I appreciate you. All right. What I will say is happy March. Hopefully this is released at that time. We're around this month always makes me think of the Look of the Irish, that Disney movie. And I feel like that has a resurgence since I've seen it on my YouTube algorithm recently. And shout out to one of our Gumbeaux Fam members that's birthday right smack dab on St. Patty's Day. Shout out to you, Jonathan. If and when you're still, if you listening still, I don't even know what you doing. All right. Anyway, as I was feeling pushed to release the episode, not only because I told you all that monthly, with our tracking and with our metrics that I released in December, just kind of like, okay, we're going to do this monthly thing. I'm going to do it when I feel like it and when I want to, because at the end of this day, we're still on the road to 100. If you were listening from the beginning episodes, you're like, girl, we've been on this road for a while. Hush. Sit down. Get in the back seat. Get somewhere. Get on the third row. Get between whatever console. Squeeze in because we still here. And as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, this will be episode 75. Audible clap. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Thank you, Johnny. I see you back there. There's absolutely no one here. This is the empty room clapping in it. Thank you, Susan. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, such a doll, Dolly. I know. We've made it. We only got a quarter of a way there left to get to that 100 mark. And as I mentioned before in previous episodes, I'm going to say it again because Kev on Stage was the one. Like, if you're still in the game by episode 100, I don't know if that's a badge of honor I should, or if it's just something that, bragging rights, or just like a milestone that we all try to hit. But I don't know if that makes me an official, quote, podcaster by that time. It took long enough, right? We went from the web show to the podcast, and we still been trekking along with Sagan's inconsistency. I've been pushed to do this episode, though, because I feel like there's expectation. I'm anticipating things happening. Things around me are evolving, as you heard from the previous episode, 74. Just kind of like, what's happening? What's new? What's out there? What's on the horizon? And to be honest, the answer is, I don't know. And when you're in a season of unknown, that could often be, okay, this is a scary time for me. Or it could be a time where creativity is at its best, where you're open and susceptible to all the possibilities. If your anxiety is telling you your expectations should be at its highest or something like that, I think that's where me and you, often get into a tussle with life, because our expectations aren't always aligned with whatever your higher power is, but God, Jesus, in my life, what he says, what his will is for me, right? And whatever, you subscribe to as far as expectation managing, that's tough. And so I'm talking today about frustration. This was a journal entry for me, but also something that I was like, man, should this fall under a parent or should this just fall under an episode? What would be the title? I don't even know. At this point, it's more of, if you're in this season, like into the unknown, I guess the Frozen 2 is what I'll probably say, that it's a frustration time if that's your default. I know that's for me. I'm speaking to those that might, like, when things don't quite go your way, what is your default emotion. What happens when things go awry? Do you get mad? Because mine is deep, frustration. And I feel like it's because I've been on this track that I'm like, okay, forward is progress. Forward means better. Forward means that I'm doing something, I'm progressing, right? Progression is forward. That could be a misconception as well, y'all. Movement is not always in motion forward towards a thing that you're leading to. It could be backward movement. And for some reason, shower thoughts, I don't know who else might have this, but I get in the shower. I don't know if that's just a time of cleansing. My thoughts get to running. Sometimes I have the best ideas that come out of the shower. I'm just like, okay, I don't know if it's the running water, things, the day is coming off of me, literally, physically, spiritually, and I can feel so much coming. And one thing was a catapult. And I'm in the shower and I can visualize a catapult and how that big boulder, you could you picture in your mind medieval times, they're at war, they put the big boulder in the catapult. That so much power, so many men have to pull that one catapult back to hold the size of that boulder to launch it, right? The catapult was first in my mind, and then a slingshot was the second. And I was thinking, okay, all of which requires the motion of pulling things back to be propelled, right? And I remember a sermon from, man, it had to be about 6 years ago, pre-COVID, right? This was T.D. Jakes. Pause. I'm going to say pause because I'm not subscribing to nobody following TD, no files, no Diddy. Let's leave that where it's at. But it was from him, right? And I heard it way back when he talks about the launch. And he used the analogy of a rocket. And when you enter another atmosphere, or when the rocket launches, right, you could picture the rocket being set off and set free. There's little bits that fall off the rocket, right? The capsules. In order for it to take flight or to go higher, it has to shed weight. The slingshot and catapult in the analogy or metaphor, you have to be pulled back. The law of inertia came to mind in the shower as well. Just like, I don't even use that word inertia. I'm like, inertia. All right, now I'm not any physics theoretical rooted nothing. But why is this coming to me in the shower? And I immediately thought of, this season that I'm in has been frustrating because the stuff I had in my mind, what I expected to do, my expectations of it, the things I want to do, the things we're setting out to do, even as I'm speaking right now, planning is not going as, quote, planned. And I use both as planned in quotes. It's not going the way in which I expected. And immediately, my first response is I'm mad. I'm salty. All of the above. Why am I not getting my quote way? And I'm going to put a lot of air quotes. Let's quote, air quote everything. And so the first thing is like, Lord, are you pulling me back? Like, is this Tyrese? Every time I try to leave, something keeps pulling me back, telling me I need you. Is this it? But I felt like pulled back. And I guess entering the shower with those thoughts, I just felt like it was a setback. A lot of think of everything that when you're mad, just like if somebody keeps telling you or something keeps telling you no. If you still feel like the door is closed, like I keep knocking on the same door. I'm trying different keys. I thought I had the key, to this particular door, this analogy, whatever that door represents for you. A new transition, a new job, a new whatever, right? Even if you're hoping this for something else for someone else. And it just seems like the answer is no. And I don't know if the answer is no. That's the thing. When I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, I don't know. So what if the answer is wait? It still feels like no. Amen. All right. Somebody out there said it. Susan, you still here? Because you was clapping earlier, and I thought that was you back there saying amen. Okay, but I really do feel like wait still feels like no, people. So we can't decipher people like us, the ones that are the perfectionists, that the people pleasers, the ones that expect things, they expect the unexpected, they have these large imaginations. We believe everything is possible, so everything is yes. And when it's not right now, that still feels like no. My immediate default response and emotion is frustration. So the pullback in the analogy, in the analogy of the catapult and the slingshot, we have to be pulled back in order to be propelled forward. It's the pullback that really needs to happen, because that's the preparation we need. You're not being held back. As a matter of fact, doing this pullback, you could be gathering information. What do you need to, before launch, have in your back pocket, in your toolbox, in your mind, in whatever it is that you need before taking flight? Because once you're in the air and once you're at a certain speed, you won't be able to stop. Right now, while you're being, quote, held back, what can you do in the meantime that will prepare you for flight? Because you're about to go fast. Everything is about to happen really fast, and you won't be able to see the things around you. You know those pictures where you're going it feels like you're in a tunnel, or you can see those pictures where it's a race car and everything on the side of them is like streaks of light. That's what it's going to feel and look like for you once you're in flight. Are you ready? Are you ready? Answer that. Answer that truthfully and honestly. Are you ready? The answer might be no. Not right now, but it also could say, okay, pause. Nothing ever said when you'd be ready, right? It's not going to say, well, I'm not ready right now. I could be ready tomorrow. I could be ready next week. I could be ready next month. It's never that, but I need you to prepare. What does preparation look like, Sagan? Well, it seems like you need to, number one, work on your ego. Because not everything needs to be yes. So at this next level, when you take flight, I need you to understand that no might mean wait. And that when it is a yes, I need you to be prepared for it. Because are you truly prepared for what you're saying yes to first, right? What you believe to be ready for. Do you have everything, whether it be the money, the resources, the people, the connections? What could you be doing right now that would put you in a better position once you get to your destination? Whatever that is. Okay? I can say right now from my position, I am not ready. And that takes a lot to say that I'm not ready as well. It's not something easy. Ego is not something that can be tamed easily. I'll share this with you all, that ego, I heard this on like a Super Soul Sunday way back when I was down with Oprah. That'll be another conversation for another day. Clearly I'm bringing up people I ain't down with no more. Okay, we got TD, we got Oprah, they racking up. So edging God out was one of her guest acronym for ego. And when your ego is engaged, when it is at its highest, and when it's loud, it edges God out. And that just means that you're no longer allowing something else to control you. You're in control. And if you're, spiritually sound in the sense of like what you believe your spiritual mind to be and what your flesh should be, you understand that the mind and body at times are at war. And it doesn't matter what you believe in. You know that you have conflict in your body, period, in your thoughts. When things happen that don't quite align, you're literally at this like seesaw, this pinnacle, this something that's swaying back and forth saying maybe yes, maybe no. And if that's the case, that could very well be, do I swing towards my ego, which tells me Me first, me only? Or do I swing back towards the more secure, rational one that includes other people, that oftentimes has the ability to see more of a perspective, other other things that will take not necessarily precedence, but other things that will be impacted by my decision. Ego doesn't do that all the time, y'all, and that, psychologically and theoretically based, because y'all know how I get down. The id, ego, super ego, that thing that's right in the middle, right? Right? That, of course, is your ego. The id is on one side, the angel and devil reference, and the ego, super ego, is on the other, the highest moral. So who's doing the best, right? You think the angel would be the super ego, the id would be the quote devil, and that would be exactly what we would assume to have precedence over us. Not all the time do we have that balance. Not all that time does the pinnacle swing right, wrong, whatever. And I don't really like to call the right or wrong decision making. My ideology, and I don't care what other people think at this point. I've been thinking it for a while, and if it changes, it changes. But I think all paths lead to who you need to be, purpose, right? I think all paths lead that way. There's detours, there's highs, lows, as I mentioned before, there's potholes, as I mentioned on the last episode, but you get to where you need to go. Sometimes the route changes because of the, ETA, and you have to take another turn. You took a left when you should have took a right. You pick somebody up along the way. Those things might still happen, but the path and whatever it is at the end of that light at the end of the tunnel will be reached, right? That purpose. And so my challenge to you would be like asking yourself, have you questioned yourself, like, what am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing? Why am I here? I think those questions we're oftentimes afraid of because, I don't know, society has put us in this box where if we start asking why I'm here questions, oh man, she's ready to end her life. She's ready to get out of here. She's trying to get it. No. Why am I here? Like sometimes we feel purposeless. Let's call that a thing. And we don't feel purposeful. We feel purposeless. So how do we get to a place where? Well, let me tell you this. I'm going to share this with you and then let you go and bid you adieu. I have found that getting in touch with my inner child has been refreshing for me for the past month. Sagan, what are you talking about? What you mean inner child? That's Susan over there. She wanted to make sure that we were on trend to ask Q&A. You're right on time, Susan. Our inner child, my explanation of my inner child. My inner child is imagination. My ability to tap back in and out of, y'all, if you can daydream, you still have the ability to tap into whoever you were back in 99, 89, 80. I don't go beyond that. 80s baby. I'll stay right there. So you could go beyond that in the 70s. Draw from where you were, right? At a time when imaginations is something you were born with. You had the ability to dream. You had the ability to foresee. And if it wasn't even a vision that you knew could happen, you still had faith and hope that it would, because as a child, we aren't taught to restrain our dreams. But as an adult, for some odd reason, somebody told us that we could not and we couldn't. And as we begin to look at through the telescope got shorter and shorter and shorter, because everything else around us told us that it would not happen or we couldn't do it. And our sight, our foresight, and our foreshadowing, that ability to have that superpower to see ahead, we no longer have that. Like we lose that at a certain point. I've decided to count myself in as a case study for myself. What am I doing? Well, I'm trying to figure out when have I lost that? Was that at age 11 when trauma found me? And then I turned to food. Like, where did my imagination turn and shift? Because y'all, I still have it. I'm very childlike at the tender age of 38. I'm about to be 38 this year. And I'm like, why do I still have this knack for imagination? Like, I still have this, and I feel like I have to put a lid on it sometimes. This is the year that I realized I'm not doing that. Oh no. As a matter of fact, I got into the fun side of things. So here's what I mean by tapping into your inner child. For the past 3 weeks, I have been jumping into fashion. I've gone into my closet and I've picked weird outfits out. I have nowhere to go. I work from home. I work from the maison. And guess what? Still put it on. I've taken pictures. I've created a virtual lookbook. Shout out to Dr. Aisha, who told me, yes, you should. And now I have a digital footprint of everything my imagination is deciding to do right now. This is an era in my life that I don't know if it's going to last, and I don't care. But I tell you what, the other things in my life I can't control, but what I can control is how I feel. And what I'm gonna feel, I choose to feel good. I choose joy. And if that's something I put on my body and not in my body, if it's a walk I decide to take outside, if it's something else, then I'm going to choose joy, the better version of me. These outfits, y'all, know, some have been inspired by our faves, I've been going on YouTube. I've been looking up some styles, Pinterest boards, all the fun things. And to be honest, this has made me feel so good when I'm able to put on something like, okay. It's been that. I've been having those moments. Now, I'm not going to lie. It has been some fashion fails, but the failing is fun. I have so much fun and failure in this realm. And all this does is open my mind up to the fact that I can't control life. Life doesn't control me, though. But what's going to happen is I will fail. I will succeed. I will feel happy, sad, all the things. What fashion represents for me right now is fun. What fashion represents right now is purpose. I have a playground. Right now, it just turns out to be my closet. I don't know what that is for y'all. I don't know what you need to get back into. I don't know if you paint. I don't know if you used to write. I don't know if you used to color. I don't know if you used to, I don't rap. I'm not encouraging that. Hold on. Because I heard somebody 30 plus in the back say, why are you encouraging that? Why are you encouraging that gangster rap? Hey, I didn't say that. Whatever art form that you're into, right? If it was DIY projects, if it was putting on summits for someone, women empowerment, men empowerment, if you had a mentor group, if you were supposed to be coaching basketball, what are you doing that's going to help you feel purpose filled and get back into that imagination? No, you don't have an imaginary friend, but you can begin again. You can start again. So while you're in this frustration phase, and like I told you, you feel the slingshot, you're being, quote, pulled back, held back. What are you doing to prepare? While I wait, y'all, I'm going to have me some fun. And I encourage you to do that too. I don't know what you need to tap back into or tap into. Oh, I've been thinking about that. I don't know why that keep coming in my brain, but it just keeps, that idea, somebody keep telling me I should stop. It's not what that revolving door is going to continue to revolve until you walk through it, stop it, or start. Do something. Do something. And if I haven't told you yet, I love you. Shout out to anybody listening. We'll talk soon. We'll catch back up. Y'all go ahead and have a good day.